Hi, everyone. I am your host, Tommy Vincent of In Her Words podcast, and I'm delighted today that you will be staying a while with myself and our guest, Toni Harris. Toni, welcome to the In Her Words table. I am so grateful that you will be staying a while with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So, the very first question I have for you is who is Toni Harris in your words?
Toni Harris is a multitude of things: a flight attendant, a football player, an actress, a stunt double. I mean, you name it, you pick it. It's me.
So let me give you all some highlights about Toni. Toni is a former defensive back for East Los Angeles College. She received numerous athletic scholarship offers. She is recognized as the first and only female football player ever to play a non-specialist position and to be offered a full scholarship on a college roster. Toni is also an NFL flag and global ambassador. And as she mentioned, she is an actress, a stunt double, and a flight attendant. What do you not do, Toni?
Well, there's plenty of things I don't do, but I never shy away from things that I can always learn. I'm very adventurous, so I'm always up for a challenge.
Yes. So when I asked you the question about who is Toni, you shared with us things that Toni does. But if we were to take away the titles, take away the positions, who is Toni?
Well, who I think Toni is this loving, nurturing, shy but kind ambivert who people usually think is a fully extrovert, but sometimes I could be very introverted. Um, I mean, who just loves life, who tries to live life to the fullest. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's get into some more questions that will allow for us to get to know you in an even better way. Um, you were the first, and anytime someone has an opportunity to be the first of anything, there is an invisible weight that people on the outside have no idea what that feels like. Can you describe what the weight of being the first felt like to you?
you know what, the being the first is a very very stressful thing to hold, and I think I'm okay with being the first because I know God made me strong enough to carry the title. But it's a lot of weight because people don't know all the stuff that comes with being the first, all the flack, all the naysayers, all the rumors, all the comments. I mean, people feel like they have this insider to your life and they know nothing about you. But because people feel like if your
Mm-hmm.
identity is out there in the world, they have this opportunity and this right to comment on it and they don't even know you as a person. So I knew that being a first would be very challenging, very tough. Um, but even as a first, I still kept my faith in God and I asked Him, I said, I'm asking you for this, God, so please prepare me to use my gift to give back to the world.
Mm-hmm. So when you're the first, because you're the first, there's not really someone that you can speak with about the experience and what to expect. Did you have someone that you leaned on as your confidant and as someone that was just encouraging you, and keeping you steady in this race?
You know what? There's a lot of female football players that came before me, and I always like to give them, their flowers. But there hasn't been one who was in the predicament of being the first to play a non-specialist position because I play safety. So I didn't really have anybody to talk to about how do I go about this situation in the college football locker room or at the university level. So I really had myself to just talk to and confide in, and I mean, it wasn't really many people who could give me that hands-on experience from their perspective. So I just took what I had and used it to the best of my abilities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who championed you to get on the radar, to have the opportunity to receive a college scholarship? Like, I know my son currently, he coaches high school football. And for the players that are on his roster, he works really hard to get them noticed by colleges and universities. So who was your champion?
I didn't really have a champion because my idea of playing football was not to be the first. It was just I want to play at the next level. I it's my passion just as much as it's any other person's passion. And so, I had a couple strength and conditioning coaches, Coach Kosick and Coach Huff, who trained me and told me what I could do to get to that next level. But I didn't really have a champion that was like giving me the tools and pushing me, because I always had a lot of naysayers and doubters. Everybody's was always telling me that this is as far as you're going to go. I remember a coach told me, he said, to be honest, you're never going to play at the next level, but you'll be good if you stay around football. That's what he told me. And like, I'm such an emotional person. I asked him, I was like, who do you think you are? Do you think you're God? Like, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave it alone and I'm gonna prove him wrong. And I mean, that's been my whole persona in life, is because people are always telling women what they're capable of and what they can do. And they think that there's so many things that are impossible that women can't do. I just prove them wrong. I pick a thing and I'm gonna do this and let's prove them right. And I perfect it to the best of my abilities and I just do it.
Mm-hmm. What was your personal process for determining what college you would actually attend?
Well, to be honest, all of the schools that offered me were all in like Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, um, Colorado. They were all in cold places. But the first one was a school that had my major, because I'm a criminal
Mm-hmm.
justice major. A school that um was going to give me a full scholarship because nobody wants to pay to go to school, and also a school where I would feel welcomed and just not the face case. And that was kind of iffy to pick anyways, because either way that could still happen, but mainly it was about my education and where I felt the most comfortable when I
Mm-hmm.
went on my visits.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. I know one of the things, when we were looking at schools for our sons, there were things that we looked at like from their position perspective. What was the current, you know, depth at that position? Was there an actual need for them? We knew from an academic perspective, they all had really great academic universities that were pursuing them, but we also knew that they had some goals and dreams for their football careers. And so we wanted to make sure that they would go to a system that would actually fit their style of play, like with their position in the coaching that was currently there, because that can
right,
change year to year
all the
anyway.
time.
But just making sure that they were in a system that was a good fit for them and their
Right,
style of play.
because nobody wants to go to a school where you're miserable. Nobody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you have to demand for your peers to challenge your skills and physicality like they did each other when you started practicing and started, getting into the workouts with your teammates?
You know what? No, I can tell you, both at the junior college level and the university level, my teammates were very supportive. They were like, when I was in high
Mm,
school playing football and middle school, you got them are high schoolers, immaturity, adolescence, you name it. Um, they may have not been as encouraging until they got to know me. But at the junior college level and the university level, my teammates would go to the gym with me, and they are the reasons why I could lift 405 and squat. I have videos of my teammates pushing me and helping me lift weights and encouraging me. So, I mean, I wouldn't trade any of my teammates for anything, because they definitely did push me. They didn't take it easy on me either. They only pushed me to go harder. So, I do appreciate that, and I appreciate them, helping me keep that dog mentality every day in practice.
Oh, that is wonderful. So talk to us about, this the process and the way I listen, we know a lot of young people when they get into college, there is the load of the academics, the load of the training schedule, and literally the athletic piece becomes like a full-time job. And then
Yes.
you're concerned about getting playing time. You're concerned about um so many different components that everybody does not have an opportunity to see. And a lot of that is internalized. Talk about the mental battle that you endured in that process, and what you were able to do to help to keep, or address your mental wellness.
You know what? Being a student athlete, period, takes a toll on the mental. But to be a female in a man's world, and I literally say a man's world because that's what they feel like it is. It takes a huge toll because going to practice every single day, telling yourself, I know I'm not as strong. I know I'm not as fast. I know God didn't give me those same genetics that He did men. But if this is something that I want to do, I have to build myself up to that. You have to be 100%, 10 times, 50 times percent more dedicated mentally, emotionally, physically, and like, oh my goodness, I can't even, like, just thinking about it all over again, taking myself through the process. It's like is so inexplicable. Like, people don't understand. Student athletes, yes, they go through a lot, but I'm first off, I'm a student athlete. I'm not only just doing one sport. I did four sports in college. I ended up limiting myself to three, so I was doing cheer, track, and football. I gotta do my studies. I'm a master's student right now, but I was a bachelor's student, and this is when I was going to two different schools, getting two different degrees, where I was getting a degree in social and behavior development, and then another degree in administration of justice. So I'm doing school, and then you got to support yourself financially because I didn't live with anybody in California or Missouri, so I'm working UPS at nighttime. So I'm getting out of practice at 8 at night, going to work at UPS or Amazon at 10, not getting off until like 4 or 5, then got to go to class, got to leave the house at 7:30 to get to class at 8. And this is just junior college. We're not even talking about the university level because the schedule's crazy. And then you still, it's hard to maintain who you are, and being a student athlete because it's taken such a big toll on your mental. Because at some moments you're like, is it really worth it? Like, even when I got to the university level, I would have practice at 6 o'clock in the morning. I would get out around 7:30. I would have class at 8:15, all the way to like 1 o'clock. I would have weights from 2:15 to 3:15, from 4 o'clock to about 6:30. I would have football practice. Right after that, and this is all at the university level. From 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, I would have cheer practice, and then I would be going back to my dorm to try to study everything that I had to do for class, whether it was reading, whether it was a test or a study guide, and then doing the process all over again in the morning. I mean, it's truly exhausting. And then not only that, I still have to, like, when I got to the university level, I'm doing all of that, plus I'm sitting down and I'm talking to kids in my spare time. I'm writing letters back. I'm doing interviews. I'm traveling from place to place for like award shows or something, which I was completely grateful for. But everything in a bunch, and still trying to maintain being who I am, and trying to keep a head on, and worrying about the roster, where I am on the roster, because that was something I was always going to have to worry about no matter what school I was at, because I always had the disadvantage because I was a female. I mean, I mean, it's it's just so mentally draining. No wonder why some student athletes stop being athletes just to live free lives, because it's exhausting. It really is exhausting. It's so mentally draining that you see these student athletes. I think this year has been the highest rate with the suicide rate with student athletes in lots of colleges and universities. You got kids from Southern University committing suicide. Stanford, Prairie A&M University, Texas Southern. There's been so many suicides this year from student athletes because of people. They expect you to be the athlete, but they forget that you're still the student too. They forget that you're still
Mm-hmm.
the human. So they're expecting everything when it comes to athletics, but not knowing that outside of those athletics, you still got to take care of yourself. You still got to do your schoolwork. You still got to answer to your coaches and your teachers and your parents and your peers and your if you're in a relationship, like it's so much um it bundled up into one. And you just really got to applaud all the student athletes who stick through it every day, especially when they want to give up. Those are the special ones.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that at some point in time that thought enters into the minds of many, because like the weight of it all and what that entails. And the one thing that, I talk to my son about is when he's feeling the weight and the pressure of all of these things and what he's experiencing, I also remind him that the coaches are carrying their own weight.
Right.
And so sometimes you get their weight on your weight because it's like they have the pressure of winning. They have the
Yes.
pressure of being like, so it's
Not
you're
being tired.
there is this, yes, there is a gravity that comes with everybody involved, from the athletic director to the coaches, what the coach's personal life is about, what your life is about, you as an athlete. There's so many dynamics there. And ensuring the culture of the program is a healthy culture is so important for everybody's mental well-being, that's something I really, hope that it will become a priority for universities everywhere.
Absolutely. And the pressure is the silent killer. People don't pay attention to that because, like you said, the pressure from the athletic directors down onto the coaches' pressure down onto the athletes, just thinking about all the stuff they're going through, then they're putting the pressure on you. And like the pressure gets to you. It's like you want to deal with it or you don't. And sometimes some people can't handle that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
You also have
And
to
listen,
like go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, no, 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 go ahead.
I was just saying, like, in some coaches, when they do get that pressure, they tend to forget that all their student athletes are different in many ways. You cannot talk to one student athlete or expect them to act a certain way that you would one another because everybody's raised differently. So when you're treating them all the same and you're not being able to attend to their needs in a way, a parent will attend to their kids' needs in different ways because you know your children, then that's also pressure for a student athlete because now they're either feeling left out, they feel like feeling abandoned, they feel like you only care about them because they're on your roster, and outside of that, they're just nobody. That's another thing that gets to student athletes. That's another thing that got to me. Like, and I've talked to many other athletes who also felt like that. Like, the pressure is a silent killer.
Mm-hmm. Since you started playing and have become visible for everyone to see, do you get other females who play tackle football or have a desire to play tackle football that reach out to you to get your advice and to hear about your experience?
Absolutely. I mean, every day there's somebody DMing me about football. And I'm extremely grateful. I try to get back to all the DMs I can because I know how it was being that girl who had nobody to confide in and ask the questions about what it was about playing at the next level. So I try to talk to as many as I can. And now I'm also playing pro football for the WFA. And that also helps because it brings females out to our games, allow them to see what we're doing out there, trying to partner with different leagues, and just still being able to play the game that I love without, I mean, there's still pressure, but without all the student athlete pressure. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's exciting, and I'm just happy that I can do what I love, explain it to not just young girls, but young men too, because there are young men out here who ask the questions about it. And I mean, I'm just happy that God chose me to be the designee. That really is what it is.
So, talk to us about what you're currently doing to continue to have an impact on the game you love.
Okay. So like I said, I am playing for the WFA. Right now I'm currently on the Cali War roster. Um I'm not sure if I'm going to stay WFA or if I'm going to go WNFC. There's all these different leagues that keep contacting me, and I just want to find the best option for me.
Now,
Um,
are these leagues female leagues or
yeah, they're
are
pro women football
okay?
leagues. Yes.
Okay.
And then I am an NFL flag and a global flag ambassador for the NFL. Every year I work with NFL flag at the draft, at the Super Bowl, at the Pro Bowl, with girls and guys playing flag, whether it's speeches or coaching or um, doing the sidelining or the hosting. I mean, we do a million things with NFL flag. I get to see Troy every year. He's always there, of course. He's always on my head too. Um, what else? I still go around doing motivational speeches. So I was actually invited to speak at Midland University to their girls flag football team. I'm supposed to do that around their season really soon. So they're gonna fly me up there so I can speak to their girls. And I mean, there's a many of things that I want to do. It just depends on what comes at me first. But as long as I can, like I said, play the game that I love and then still help those who want to play this game too, I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm. So let's take a little detour and let's get to this acting and stunt double work that you're doing. Talk to
Yes.
us about that.
You know what? If you had to ask me what was my true passion, it would be on the TV screen. I don't know. I don't know. I love the camera. You know, I love acting. I love stunt doubling. I love hosting. Um, I love talking. Period. And I love I love being able to give other people enjoyment. So I've been doing that now since 2018. My first time was when I did my first Super Bowl Toyota commercial that was centered around my life. And then right after that, I did the NFL Super Bowl commercial, which featured me tackling Ray Lewis, which was so fun because nobody else in this world can say they tackled Ray Lewis. And then uh, I've actually done some features in Physical, which is a show with Rose Byrne on Apple. I just actually this year did some features on All American Homecoming. I did
Mm.
the not the Super Bowl commercial, the NFL commercial with AT&T and DirecTV with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and the Housewives. I just finished shooting
Mm-hmm.
that in June. I did a T-Mobile commercial with Anthony Anderson and his family for the Super Bowl last year. Um, and actually, I just got casted in High School Musical. I had to do like a little singing audition because I also sing. I sing in the choir at church, so I'm always
Oh,
singing.
girl.
Yeah, so I'll be on High School Musical singing. So I
Congratulations.
appreciate that. And really, like I said, after football, even though I'll always be involved in football my whole life, no matter what, I would really like to bring the two together. Whether it's
Mm.
acting and hosting or another dream of mine was there's like because I love working with the NFL so much. I would love to be now this if you ask me if I ever wanted to be a first, that's something this is it. Of course
Okay.
everybody know I wanted to be the first female NFL player, but that was high chances. I was hopeful. Um but life happens, and I'm not discouraged from it. But there isn't a woman in the NFL who's played football and analyzes. So I would like to be able to be one of
Mm.
the women who can analyze and break down game film with the NFL. Sooner or later, one day, I know God got a plan though. So
From a player's perspective, because you're a
yes,
player.
from a player's perspective, it'll shock. They're gonna be wondering how does this girl know so much about the football because it's my game. It's my game.
Yeah.
So it's my game.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. And then we also have a couple other things in the works. I can't say too much about it, but just know that um my life rights and a bio is coming, in a biography is coming. I could say that much. That's the only thing I could say without breaking my NDA. But I can say that from a big production company. So I'm excited about that too.
That's amazing. It's so great to hear you excelling at many things. And you talked about that in the top of our conversation where, whatever it is that you decide that you want to do, you give it your all and you do it and you do it well. So I just want to congratulate you on the success that you're currently having in your life. And I know that we're going to be able to continue to watch the success that you're having because you already made it very clear that you like the big screen. So we're going to be looking
I
out for you there.
yeah, like I pray about it every day. I try to be as kind as I can, as loving. I try to give back as much as I can. I try to WWJD. What would Jesus do? I try as much as I can because I know that in order to get opportunities, you have to give. So
Mhm.
I try that, and I try to just move with life with love all around me, especially because I have so many things going on. It's so hard not to be the optimistic person because I am doing so many things. Like I graduate from SC in the spring with my graduate degree in criminal justice and the minor in forensics. So I cannot wait for that to be done because school is just tearing me apart. It is ripping a hole in it. So I can't wait to be done with my graduate degree. And my dad's like, "Well, why don't you just go all the way and get your doctorate?" I was like, absolutely not. I don't need it. I don't need it. People keep trying to no. I've had enough schooling for a lifetime, for any person's lifetime.
So if you could go back to high school age Toni and share some wisdom for her future, what would you share with her?
You know what? I would tell high school Toni that I honestly wouldn't change anything about what's happened in the path that I chose because all of what I had to go through, went through, all the love and pain and pleasure, it all led up to who I am today. And I wouldn't change the person I am today because it's gave me so much experience in all the right categories to be able to share with just not only myself and my family, but people around the world. Um, it's made me different, yes, but it's okay to be different. It is okay to be the most authentic and bold version of yourself. And I would just tell the younger Toni Harris, girl, keep going. Why, like, there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is a silver lining. There is a silver lining. So I would just tell her, trust the process. Really trust the process. Because back then we didn't know, but now, now we know. God got something big planned, something really big, something that's even gonna surprise my eyes. And I'm gonna just be patient and I'm gonna wait for it. I'm gonna just wait.
Mhm. So this segment is I am bringing her to the table with me and this is your opportunity to give verbal flowers to another woman that you know without a shadow of a doubt that you would not be where you are today without her fingerprint on your life.
You know what? It does it have to be like a certain person or an athlete? Are we going into any of those?
So it just needs to be a woman.
If I had to give those flowers, I would give them to my grandmother. That's my
Mm.
best friend, my grandmother. Because with me and all the stuff that I've experienced in life, because I'm also adopted, my grandmother has always been there every step of the way. That's like my best friend, whether, I was at my aunt's house, she would be dragging my seesaw down a couple blocks with me, whether if I needed money for graduation or for prom or anything that I ever needed, or if I just needed a person to kiss me on my cheek and tell us me it's gonna be okay, or somebody that just knew that I was destined for greatness, it would be my grandmother.
Hmm.
I would love to give
What's
my,
your
especially
grandmother's
since
name?
her name is Linnell Harris. That's my best friend. That's my girl. That's my girl. I just talked to her right before I got on this interview too.
All right, Grandma. So now we're moving into our final segment, which is Food is Love. Now, I am also a chef. And so these questions just these questions speak to me and how I love people to life. And so I'm going to ask you a series of questions,
Okay.
and
I love
we
food.
will enjoy your. What food best describes your personality and why?
Uh, I think crab legs, and I know everybody likes crab legs, but I think it describes me personally because as soon as you break into my shell, you find the most amazing, loving person ever, and that's like with crab legs. You break into that shell, and there is the treasure. That's why I feel like like my life would be compared to a crab leg.
Okay. Has food ever been healing for you?
Absolutely. It's healing for everybody. Don't give me some gumbo or just some tomato soup with some crackers in it. Food can heal anything. I'm telling you, food can heal happiness, sadness, anxiousness, anxiety, all of it.
Mm-hmm. Does your family have an heirloom recipe that's passed down from generation to generation?
No, but I wish. I wish. I would love to be like Tiana from Princess and the Frog with my father's recipe.
Well, listen, you might have to be the one. You might have to
Listen,
be the
I try
one. Do
because I
you
can throw
cook?
down
Do
in
you
the
cook?
kitchen. Oh yes, I can throw down in the kitchen. Listen, the way in college when I couldn't work at the university level, the way I made my money was around the holidays. I would do Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving. I would be making greens, turkey, banana cheesecake, cherry cheesecake, Oreo cheesecake, yams, chicken wings. I mean, I would be cooking everything under the sun, making my money. I would be selling it, and that's how doing hair and making food is how I made my money in college when I couldn't work. So.
You are a woman after my own heart. And I love it. I love it. I love it. You're going to have to be the one to start the recipe that you can start passing along from generation
Yes.
to generation.
Yeah. I tell my dad all the time. My dad always telling me, he was like, my dad said, if I can't say there's one thing about you, you are a hustler. And I told my dad, I said, Dad, well, have you ever seen the show Raising Canaan? The 50 cents, the intro song when it's I'm a hustler,
Hmm.
baby. I told him that's my
Yeah.
theme song. That's my song right there. Cause it's you gotta find a way to live some way somehow. I'm gonna use all these talents that God gave me to the best of my abilities. And when I go out this world, they're gonna say, there's not one thing in this world this girl couldn't do.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Listen, I have thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. How can people follow along on your journey so we can see all of this unfolding in your life?
Well, they can follow along on YouTube, Tony Harris TV. I'm mostly on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram is _ Tony Harris, and Twitter is regular, just Tony Harris. They can also follow on Facebook, which is Tony Harris. So, very simple, but I'm always posting. I'm always talking, doing something on there. So there's a great deal of ways to keep up with Tony Harris.
Okay, and that is Tony with an I, everyone.
Yes, please do not put a Y because everybody always spell my name with a Y, and I'm like, I am a female again. I don't know what it
I
is.
get it. I'm Tommy with an I, so I get it.
Yeah, we get it. We understand,
Yes.
but everybody else.
Yes. So thank you so much, Tony, for taking your seat today and staying a while with me and allowing us to hear from you in your words and have a wonderful, wonderful conversation. And I wish you all the best. And I'm really looking forward to watching your journey blossom before our very eyes.
I appreciate you, Tommy, for inviting me and just letting me, speak my heart and my truth about what I love to do and the things that I'm doing. And I also hope to that Troy figures out a way for us to meet because I need to taste the chef Tommy. Now I'm looking forward to some meals. So we definitely gotta meet sooner or later. Tell Troy y'all have a new adopted daughter. Y'all
Absolutely.
I gotta taste it now.
You are always welcome. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Tommy. And it was so nice being on air with you and sitting down and, given the world how I feel in my words. I have been delighted to have been able to take a seat at the table.
Thank you.
Gonna stay a while.